I have a small studio in Walthamstow. I go in there, switch on the light sometimes because I prefer to work in natural light, because my perception of colour, everyone's perception of colour is different according to the light. So I perceive colours differently in natural light, and in the evening I switch on the light. So the title of this painting is Laughing Legend with Stratocaster. Yeah, and it links to two of my favorite things. One is The Laughing Cavalier by Frans Hals. In fact, I admire Hals and Rembrandt, the most of all painters. They taught me a great deal. And the other one was Hendrix, who I saw a couple of times. First time at the Savile Theatre in '67. It always struck me that Hendrix, there was a lot about the persona, at least as I perceived it, in The Laughing Cavalier. And Hendrix, the Cavalier is dressed in these, what to me anyway, flamboyant clothes. He had this great big hat. Hendrix wore large black hats quite often. He wore these very frilly, very colourful, hippie type clothes. What I do know is that I go into a sort of dream space. I can't bring it on. I can't ask it to come on. I can't switch it on. It's just that, sometimes, not all the time, but enough times, if I'm working and I'm seriously concentrating, then I sort of, I lose awareness of my surroundings. It doesn't mean that I'm in outer space, I've just become conscious of what I'm working on, every little detail. There are millions of them. What to leave out, what to do this, and silence and time are mixed. In other words, when you work, when I'm working, every moment counts. I mean, very often what happens is that I look at the time, my watch, and I say, oh, it's time to go home. I wash my brushes, and just run them through some turps, and then I, sort of clean my hands. I can't stand paint on my hands and clothes or my face and all that kind of thing. And just as I'm about to leave the studio, I look back at the work, and always at the moment of leaving, of opening the door, I see something. I think, oh, that needs to be changed. I know I cannot leave it until tomorrow. Oh no. Because silence and perception works like that. You can't halt time. If I see it then, it means my mind is ready to see it. It's ready to see it. If I leave it the next day, my mind's not be the same. It's moved on. So I won't see what I've seen. So I've got to do it right away. It's happened a couple of times. I've packed it up and God, time to go home now. And I thought, oh God, that's it. If you're doing something creative, it's linked in with time and space. So music is linked in with time and space. So no musician can ever play the same thing twice. No one. It's never happened, because it's not the same time. Something will be leisurely different. And no musician ever tries to play the same thing twice, because every musician knows it's impossible. No artist can paint the same thing twice. If they do try, they're doing reproductions. That's not creativity. Reproduction, and for that you can use silk screen. You can use various printing processes where you can literally do the same thing twice. But I think even in something like etching, no etching is the same. No etching. Every time you look at Rembrandt's etchings, they change every time, because the way they did the etching, it changed. You can't do this. There's no point trying to go back. That's the things.